now I'd like to introduce the next speaker, Laura Bowie. Laura is the Executive Director of the Gulf of Mexico Alliance, which is the regional ocean partnership working to sustain the resources of the Gulf of Mexico. The regional ocean partnerships are voluntarily convened by the governors in collaboration with other governments and stakeholders to address ocean and coastal issues of common concern in that region. GOMA has been an integral partner in the formation and operation of the Gulf of Mexico Research Initiative, and our success really could not have been possible without Laura. And then I'd like to just make one last comment for Mike, Karen, for Jennifer Pettit, and for Margaret Leinen, and certainly Chuck Wilson, who formed the executive board of the Gulf of Mexico Research Initiative. And we have worked closely with Laura. And so now I'm happy to turn it over to you, Laura. And I'm hoping that we will continue to work together in the future because it has been successful beyond belief. So it's all yours now, Laura.
Thank you, Rita. I agree. I have thoroughly enjoyed getting to know you and the other members of the research board. And I do feel like after all this time, we've formed an excellent partnership together. So I look forward to the day that we can continue working together on things just like this. I think it's such an incredible accomplishment for the Gulf and for the region. So I am the Executive Director for the Gulf of Mexico Alliance, and I'm going to give a little context around the nature of the relationship between GOMRI and the Gulf of Mexico Alliance, which we affectionately refer to as GOMA. Next slide. So the mission of GOMA is to enhance the ecological and economic health of the Gulf of Mexico through increased regional collaboration. It's those last three words that are the most important: increased regional collaboration. The vision of the people that created GOMA was that the more voices we can have at the table around an issue, including scientific research, the better solutions, the better outcomes we will find. Next slide. So a little bit about us, in case you're not familiar with GOMA, we were started in 2004 by then Governor Jeb Bush of Florida, who reached out to his good friend, Governor Haley Barbour of Mississippi. From there, they contacted the other three governors to determine if there was any interest in working together around issues that were common to all 5 states, specifically concerning the Gulf of Mexico. So it was really kind of an experiment in the beginning. No one had ever done anything like that before to address, certain issues, certain non-regulatory issues in a regional way rather than state by state. Hadn't been done in the Gulf at least. And well, so that experiment stuck, and here we are, 16 years later, we're still doing it. The Gulf states have found it immensely beneficial to work together on certain issues. So this is our structure. We've always been led by the 5 Gulf state governors. We have an active business advisory council and an active federal work group. And we oversee or administer 2 very robust programs, one devoted to the priority issues identified by the governors of the Gulf states, and one focused solely on Gulf oil spill research. So we started out with just about 35 people at the very first GOMA meeting in 2004. But now we have well over 1,000 people that participate in various working groups, teams, committees on a daily, monthly, annual basis. We're no longer just the states and the feds as we were when we first started out. We realized very early on that we could not do this collaborative thing in this region without our university and academic partners. We couldn't do it without lots of national and local nonprofit participation. And we have a robust representation from the 7 largest industries that operate in the Gulf of Mexico as well. So the Gulf states tweak our priorities from time to time, but the roles that we play in the region have remained steadfast. all this time. So we provide forums for collaboration around those issues that are determined by the states. We develop tools and pilot projects, really kind of foundational stuff that helps in coastal management or restoration planning. And we also expand the partner network to help create more and new strategic partnerships to fill those needs or those gaps that are identified. These are the priorities that we're currently working on in our latest efforts. We're working on enhancing coastal resilience, improving data access and baseline monitoring, increasing stewardship through education and engagement, conserving and restoring habitat resources, improving the quality of water resources, and improving the health of non-regulated wildlife and fisheries. And the way we do it is through action plans, or what we call governor's action plans. These are our action plans that we've had in the past. We've published 3 so far. You can see our latest one was published in 2016, and we're working on our 4th action plan right now. You'll notice that each one of these has been signed off on by all 5 Gulf state governors. That's not always an easy task, as our governors are not always of the same political stripes. However, what we found through the years is that there's enough common ground among all 5 states to keep all of us busy. So we have resoundingly produced action plans every year. Next slide. So you might be wondering what the connection is between GOMA and GoMRI. And go ahead, next slide. So in 2011, GOMA entered into a master research agreement with BP. It serves as a conduit through which the funds flow at the direction of an independent research board. It lays out how the funds are to be administered by GOMA and the independent role of the board, meaning that neither BP nor the Gulf states could influence the resulting research. You have to remember that at this time, in the 2011 timeframe, they were just beginning the negotiations that would later become the Restore Act, the NIFWIF settlement, the NERDA settlement, et cetera. And there was much concern about the independence of research and science related to the oil spill. So this master research document really serves as a guide for how to implement this, the GOMRI program. And the partnership between GOMA and GoMRI has really blossomed ever since. It has helped to better connect state and federal agencies that were super active in the GOMA community to the Gulf of Mexico academic community brought in from GoMRI and other scientists from around the world, really. And we want to continue to do that. You're probably all very familiar with the GOMA Conference that happens every year, or you might be familiar with the GOMA All Hands Conference. Our goal is to keep bringing these scientists and coastal resource managers together. We want to do it through a large conference that will occur now every other year, called the Gulf of Mexico Conference. It will be the sequel to GOMOSIS, if you will. It'll have 2 to 3 days of opportunities for scientists to present their research to audiences interested in ocean or coastal environments, including restoration managers and coastal resource managers. We had really hoped to kick this whole thing off in the spring, in this coming spring of 21, but we're realizing that an in-person event this coming spring may not be possible. So instead, be on the lookout. We're going to have a very robust in-person meeting in spring of 22, but this coming spring, you will soon see details of the Gulf Conference preview. It's going to be a virtual event taking place in April of 21. It'll only be a couple of hours long, 3 to 4 hours long, but our goal is to give you a taste of what the Gulf Conference in-person meeting will be in 2022. Thanks, and I really appreciate the time. I do hope that I get to see you all again as we continue to bring coastal researchers and scientists together with coastal managers. With that, I will turn it back over to LaDawn.